Fortnite is the hardest game to go pro in ever made, and in today's video I'll explain exactly why that is. I'll also tell you what it actually takes to become someone who can play this video game for a living, because knowing what you need to do to become really good is as far from obvious as it gets. Fortnite has had a serious problem since the beginning of its release, and that is the simple fact that every ranked system they have ever released has been terrible. So terrible in fact that you can invest 5,000 hours into ranked to the player with the most arena points in the world, or first place in Unreal, but still not even be in the top 1,000 players on the PR leaderboards. If you're unaware what PR points are, it's essentially a score given to you based on your recent tournament performances. The higher up in a competitive event you place, the more PR points you get, and the higher up on the power rankings leaderboards you go. In comparison to other major titles like Valorant, Overwatch, or League of Legends, reaching Unreal is the equivalent of reaching the ranks bang in the middle of those games' ranked ladder. You can even argue that reaching Unreal is even easier. It is so easy in fact that the well-known and beloved streamer Bushcamp Dad does it again and again, season after season, by simply camping and not getting a single elim. He doesn't have any of the actual mechanical fundamentals behind being a strong player, but he still manages to reach the highest rank in one of the most popular video games ever made.
We did it, yay!
Now, the reason this is such a massive problem in my eyes is because imagine you're a 13-year-old person wanting to grind out a game and become as good as you possibly can. You quickly understand that ranked is Fortnite's competitive system, and you might think that if you grind it hard and put in work consistently, you'll become someone super good. This would lead to a lot of wasted time. Time you could have spent on things that would have made you drastically better than playing the game mode offered by Epic Games. This all sounds insanely negative from my side. Still, I think it's very important to talk about this kind of stuff. I do need to note that there are some major benefits to playing ranked, but probably not the ones you think of. You see, ranked is a phenomenal way to develop consistent builds and edits, as your ping and FPS will be very different in ranked compared to creative. Understanding the limits of your ping and FPS and having a consistent muscle memory relative to that is very important in a game like competitive Fortnite. However, ranked is not a phenomenal way to understand what kind of plays you can and cannot go for in fights, as the average player you'll meet will be so bad that he won't punish you for the mistakes you make. Not getting punished when you make a mistake is something that will cause your improvement to be slower comparatively to actually getting punished when making said mistake. So the million-dollar question is, how can you fight players who punish your mistakes? If not ranked, how do you do it? Before I give you the answer, a quick word from today's video partner. This video is sponsored by Ease Us VoiceWave, a voice-changing app that allows you to change your voice to over 100 different preset voices. Or you can even make your own voice manually. With VoiceWave, you can make funny streams, unique YouTube videos, or simply just troll your friends a little bit.
Yeah, boy.
You can see how easy it is to use the software. If I want to sound like a woman, I can click on one of their many women presets, and boom, I sound like one.
Hey everybody, this is just one of their many preset voices. If you want to sound like this too, consider checking out Ease US VoiceWave.
If you want to use another preset to sound like something else, I simply click on it and I instantly sound like what I selected.
What's also sick is that I can sound British by using their British preset, an accent I otherwise could not do.
Down here, you can also make your voices manually if there's something or someone you want to sound like that isn't already a preset. VoiceWave is perfect for games like Fortnite, Valorant, or CS2, where you can talk to others. You can check it out for yourself by going to the top link in the description or the pinned comment below. Circling back to the video, the way to become one of the best at fighting is by playing creative, and lots of it. But again, tons of people make a fatal mistake when grinding out 1v1s, 2v2s, or whatever it may be. You see, playing creative against someone bad is way worse than grinding ranked. In creative, you get the most amount of repetitions per hour played possible. And if you spend your hours playing against floppers, you won't challenge yourself, and therefore your improvement will yet again be slow. So getting good at fighting comes down to playing long hours of creative every day, and against players of a caliber that challenge you. Depending on where you are in your competitive journey, the level of player you want to fight varies. If you're really bad, hopping into matchmaking on a random 1v1 map will be sufficient to improve fast. But given that you guys watch my niche competitive videos, chances are you're already pretty damn good. So if this sounds like you, there are three main ways of finding good competition that challenges you and helps you improve. The first, and one of the most common ways of becoming players and professionals alike, go about finding great players to verse by going on a website that is designed for 1v1 to 4v4 wagers. Wagers, or tokens as they are often referred to, are when you play opponents for money. The most common wagers good players play are 1v1 to 4v4s in a realistic Zone Wars or box fights map. I do need to mention that playing wagers is not allowed per the Epic Games terms of service. It is in in many ways gambling, where you can lose a good amount of money, and I do not at all recommend playing wagers to anyone watching. I am simply giving you this information for educational purposes and also based on the history behind how many players have succeeded in becoming professionals and making highly lucrative careers. The information I'm sharing is the historical truth, and not sharing it would be leaving potential talents in the dark. That is not how I want to do things here on my channel. The second way is by making an X account and sending DMs to players you know to be good, asking them to play 1v1s, 2v2s, whatever. You can also turn on notifications on these players' tweets, as pro players often ask people to play. This way is not as effective, but having an X account is important if you want to become a professional player. It's where people look for teammates, and building a following and a bit of a brand is important long term. If you get a good placement, post that on X. Then when you DM someone and they see that good placement, they may want to play creative with you because they can tell you're solid, even though they may be way better. The final way I have seen players improve super fast is by going in streams and asking good players to play. I would of course recommend going into smaller streamers' chats and asking, because there the chance is way higher of him or her saying yes. Being good and having a lot of viewers does not always go hand in hand. So find those players that are good, that haven't yet built an audience, and start grinding with and against them. If you follow what I've said about fighting and you grind for hours every day and consistently challenge yourself, you will become a great fighter. So when you've developed a strong fighting skill set, you might wonder, how do I become good at endgames? And this is a whole nother rabbit hole. Most people know that customs is how you practice actual competitive games, and especially endgames. But again, a lot of people play customs where they don't get challenged. Therefore, they improve at snail speeds compared to everyone else. If you're in Europe, we have the open Discord that anyone can join called Noble Open Scrims. This Discord is for players who are brand new to competitive, and it unfortunately has zone rules. If you've played competitive for some time and have an okay level of PR points, you should not spend your time on this. You'll be better off playing creative against someone good. I'll leave a link to this Discord in the description below. One step up from Noble Opens, we have Noble Division 3. This Discord is open to anyone, but you do need an invite link. You can get an invite link from placing top 3 on the daily Noble Opens leaderboards, through Noble Prac Server's X account, or occasionally through BoopNL's Twitch streams. In this Discord, you'll find players who try harder than those in Noble Opens. It's also no zone rules, which is great, and it's actually a perfect Discord for beginner comp players closing in on that intermediate status. Up from that, we have Noble Div 2, which is for players that are currently placed top 2,500 to top 750 on the EU PR leaderboards. And then on top of that, we have the Discord you need to get into if you want to actually become good. Noble 24/7. This Discord is exclusively for the players in the top 1,000, with priority sign up for customs for those higher up on the leaderboard. Being in this Discord and practicing here is a must if you want to go pro in Europe. If your dream is to go pro, everything you do from now on until you're in Discord should be aimed at getting in there. Get to top 1,000 as fast as you can, do whatever it takes, as long as it's morally okay, of course. Noble 24/7 is actual good practice for skilled players, in comparison to something like Ranked or Noble Opens. This is where you can truly develop into a great player. On NAC, the open scrims for beginners is called Mono Scrims, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. The Noble 24/7 of NAC is called Vital Scrims. However, it's in the same server as Mono Scrims. So if you have 1,000 PR, you get to play higher quality customs against players of your caliber. And the higher up on the NAC PR leaderboards you go, the better rank you'll get in Vital Scrims. So trying your best to get high up on the NAC PR leaderboards is crucial if you want to get good practice in NAC as well. You can get access to some okay practice if you win a ladder in Manu Open Scrims, even if you have 0 PR. So that is an option too. But me personally, I would grind to get high up on the PR leaderboards. Another reason it's so hard to get good at Fortnite is because things like drop maps exist. Drop maps are essentially pre-made maps with markers around your spawn of where to deploy your glider to land perfectly at either a chest, weapon spawn, or a spot where you can claim an OP building. If one trio has a drop map for Lazy Lake and another trio does not, the trio with the drop map will more often than not have an advantage in the fight they'll eventually get into, because they'll of course choose to have the best glide for one of the better buildings with more loot. If that team also has a loot route, which makes looting X amount of chests and floor spawns super quick, they will probably get twice as good loot as someone who plays without both a drop map and a loot route before starting the fight. Some players who play a lot of Fortnite does not know about loot routes or drop maps. Following these strategies are by no means something uncommon, but you do need to have a foot in the competitive community to know about such things. You can also add on to that by talking about things like off-spawn strategy strategies, farming routes, calculating seconds it takes to rotate from one spot to another, and much, much more. There are so many secrets that give people advantages in competitive Fortnite, and even just getting high quality practice is literally a fight. Understanding the different discords in your region can be confusing, especially knowing how to get into them. Finding good players to verse in creative feels like a part-time job in the beginning, and honestly, it's just very frustrating that Fortnite hasn't figured out a way to deliver an actual competitive mode where people can develop their skills to the highest level. Heck, I would have even been satisfied if I could play one of Fortnite's modes, get close to the highest level. Because as it stands right now, if you play any of the modes Fortnite offers, excluding the use of custom game matchmaking, you'll become nothing more than a totally average player that has wasted his time.